All right, time for another one of these, fun videos about this, one of my favorite gambling picks. I need to come up with a better name than that. That's not a very good name whatsoever. As I always want to mention at the beginning of these videos, to me, this is about fun. I think gambling in general is about fun. You should never bet money that you're, always bet the money that if you lose, it's not a big deal. That's the way I've always viewed it. It's more of you're paying for your entertainment than it is actually like trying to make some money. Basically, no one makes money gambling on sports. That being said, let's talk about just, it's a fun exercise. So let's get into it with my 5 favorite picks of this week. So first, Bills at Buccaneers. Listen, so I'm currently 7-3 in the 2 weeks I've done this, which I feel like is pretty good. I went over 500 both weeks, so that's my goal every week is to just go, 3-2 because it's obviously very difficult. Bills plus 3.5 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm saying bet on the Bills here. I don't know. I mean, I like both of these teams. I think they're good. I think the Bills have gotten a bit underrated, quite frankly. I think the Buffalo Bills are still a very talented team, and this is kind of exactly what the Bills want because, sure, Buffalo's a team where they don't have the most established running game, but you can throw the ball on Tampa Bay a lot easier than you can run the ball on Tampa Bay anyways. So the fact that they'll abandon the run early on is probably something in their benefit. The flip side is we have seen them have issues when receivers can't get open. Tampa Bay's receiving core has gotten a lot healthier, so that's good news for Tampa Bay. And we've seen Tampa Bay at times say, we're going to put Carlton Davis on your best receiver. Don't know if that's the best option against Stephon Diggs. I just don't. Davis is good, but Diggs will get his touches if you leave him one-on-one. So I think the main thing I like about the Buffalo Bills is just Josh Allen. He's obviously electric, and if you're giving me, especially with plus 3.5, you only have to lose by a field goal to win the bet against Buffalo. The flip side, of course, is that Tampa Bay has been really successful against, a lot of teams. Although, there is a bit of a playbook out of, hey, play cover 2. Good things can happen against Tampa Bay. I am a little bit interested in seeing how good is this Bills defense really without Tre'Davious White. I think that that's a huge blow. So losing that definitely makes it tough. So that's why I'm not necessarily saying I like the Bills to win, but I think it's a coin flip game. I think it could go either way. So give me the team with points here. That's kind of the way that I view it. Next, we have Cowboys at Balls. The Balls are the Washington football team if you're new to this channel. I like Washington, especially plus 4.5. I think Washington's pretty solid, and they've done a much better job at disguising whether they're in cover 2 or cover 3, whereas in the past, they kind of just said, we're playing cover 3, if you want to beat us, you know how to, and we'll hope that, you just won't be able to. That's typically what they've done. Now they've been a bit more of a modern defense, which is what you want against Dallas, where I go back to the fact that, these disguises that Denver did against Dallas, it's very similar to what Washington has done. So I can kind of see that being potentially a little bit of like a trap game thing. The flip side is that Dallas does just have more talent. I think Dallas is a much more talented team. So again, this is another one of those. I'm not necessarily saying Washington's going to win, but I like them with 4.5 points because maybe Dallas will run the ball against cover 3 and then throw the ball against cover 2, which is not what they want to do. Their kind of identity is built around always having that mismatch because they can run the ball well and throw the ball well. So what do? Well, you disguise, and that's what Washington can do. The flip side as well is like, okay, Taylor Heineke has played some good football recently. I still don't know how much I trust this Washington offense, but I don't know how much I trust the Dallas defense either, so that might kind of be a push if anything. So I like Washington plus 4.5. All right, my next pick, Rams at Cardinals. Listen, it's always tough to bet against a team as good as the Rams, but quite frankly, the Cardinals, I think, are just a significantly better team. I think the Cardinals are, I said this on my podcast when this was actually the team I locked up on the podcast preview show, was the Arizona Cardinals, because I just think they're really good. I think that the Cardinals are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and I think that if you can get them with only a 1.5 point spread, I'm taking them basically every time. Maybe not against like the Buccaneers, the Packers, or the Patriots. I think those 3 teams, maybe I wouldn't, but I don't think the Rams are as good as that, and I'd still probably pick the Cardinals to win outright any of those games. I just like what Arizona has done this season. Arizona torched the Rams the first time these two teams played, and I see no reason why they won't do it again, because if you want to say, well, what game plan should the Rams have this time? I mean, really, the game plan should be just throw out your previous game plan and just try stuff new. And again, try to get disguises going, because the Cardinals have proven they know what you're doing. They'll torch you and just tear you apart. The flip side, though, is the Rams kind of have a bit of a base defense. Are they going to be able to be good enough at completely changing from one week to the next? I just don't know. I like Arizona, and again, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, there is no stopping that, even if you have Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald on the other side. So I love the flip side, though. Again, going back to the Rams, I think one thing you could argue that maybe is a benefit for the Rams is the fact that, okay, like, you still do have a good offense. I think Matthew Stafford, he's had his moments, like, but he's also, starting to get better. I think with the Jaguars game was promising. And, Odell Beckham Jr., 2 touchdowns in 2 straight games, or as in a touchdown a game for 2 straight games. That's nice to see. If he can become a key part of this offense, that's the X factor. But I still think it's hard to pass the ball on Arizona. The only way the Rams win this probably is if they run the ball a lot. But even if they do run the ball a lot, like, yes, okay, Arizona doesn't have the best run defense, but the Rams have been kind of mediocre at running the ball themselves, so I just don't know how much I trust that. Next up, Seahawks at Texans. Seahawks minus 7.5. I feel like the Seahawks should be, I feel like this line should be bigger. I've actually, both of these weeks, I believe, I picked against the Houston Texans and been successful against that. That's part of why this has been the case. I don't really get why the Texans are as highly regarded as they are. I think that the Texans are the worst team in football. And meanwhile, Seattle, they're competent. Like, they still have Russell Wilson. They still have DK Metcalf. They still have Tyler Lockett. That alone should be enough to put up points against Houston. And it should be enough to cover a 7.5 point spread as well. We've seen Houston continuously struggle, and especially if it's Davis Mills time, I just don't know how much I trust that, especially one in zone coverage. That tends to be when rookie quarterbacks can really struggle because, the windows are tighter. They don't realize how tighter they are compared to in college when zone coverage, typically you have wide open guys. So there's always that issue. The Seahawks are just a significantly better team, so I'm picking them. And finally, give me the Atlanta Falcons here, plus 2.5. If this is a push, I probably wouldn't bet it, but you're giving me a couple of points. I like that a little bit better for Atlanta because this feels like a complete push, honestly. It feels like it could go either way. I think either one of these teams could win. We've seen both of these teams in the past look competent. One thing that the Falcons have going for them that, that's just a big difference is Matt Ryan. Like, they still have a significant advantage at the quarterback position. It's similar to why I picked the Falcons in one of these weeks against the Jaguars, because, you have this significant advantage. Yes, you could argue, Falcons, bottom 5 defense, all of that stuff, but you still got some options, Cordero Patterson and Kyle Pitts. I think because they're not like traditional passing options, people don't really, view the Falcons as a good passing offense. And listen, it's had its bad moments for sure, but you still have that upside. So I think that's that's a fascinating thing here. The flip side is the Panthers, the one thing they have going for them is they do have a defensive core, and that's what you're hoping for. So that should be able to at least sort of slow down Atlanta. And then the way you win, of course, is Atlanta's defense has been bad, but so has Carolina's offense. So I just don't know exactly, what to make of this, but it should be fascinating. So yeah, interesting stuff. Again, I like making these types of videos. I think it's a fun exercise, just so you know kind of where I feel about 10 teams each week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree with these? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.